hot diggity dog. Can you tell I've had children and that I have a granddaughter? By the way, if you guys didn't know, well, I probably should tell you first. I'm Spencer Combs. This is Spencer Uncensored, episode 91. Welcome. I personally believe that professional development always happens on the backside of personal development because businesses don't grow, people do, right? Businesses don't compete. The leaders of those businesses compete. And so I am heavily steeped in helping individuals and organizations and teams, people in general, if you will, that are looking to defy the odds. I come alongside and I help them with using the Unshakable framework. So welcome to being here tonight. I don't know why I sang that little silly ditty at the very beginning, but there it is. Tonight might be kind of short. Usually they're not, but maybe 10, 15 minutes. Cool couple things happening in my world. For one, let's just go ahead and talk about the elephant in the room. No, we're not talking about this particular elephant or the one that's on my hat right there for my logo right there. So today is Tuesday, October the 8th, 2024, and there is a Category 5 hurricane in the Gulf of Mexico right now, making its way to the state of Florida. Now, most of you know that I actually live in Florida. I live in the northern portion of Florida, though, and I live over on the East Coast. So currently, as the track is standing, looks like we will get some outer band activities. Yes, we will get some what they call storm surge, right? We'll get rain. Probably the biggest, like, worst case scenario situation for us, well, I guess if the storm went a little further north, but would be spin-offs of like tornadoes and things of that nature. But for the most part, we should be fine. But we are still having to prepare because we're looking at 40 mile an hour or more, 40 to 70, something like that, I think is what I understood last, in terms of sustained winds. And that's pretty fast, actually. They'll shut down bridges for 40 miles an hour. That's sustained. So in any event, there's a big mess going on, I guess, in all of Central Florida, especially from Tampa down to like Punta Gorda down in Cape Coral, Fort Myers, and maybe even down into Naples, because that's the ugly side of the storm. And as you know, they rotate counterclockwise, and so they're going to be pushing a lot of water. Milton's going to be pushing a lot of water up into those areas, and so that's going to it's just going to be a mess. Some of you also know, if you hung around with me, that I lived in Cape Coral, Florida when Hurricane Charlie came through, and actually was right through the eye of the storm, went right over us. It was very eerie, very unusual, and that was Category 4. I was blessed, even though I lived on the canal. I had Gulf access water in my backyard, and you could literally put a sailboat in my backyard and take it out into the Gulf. And the most wild thing, I was just thinking about this earlier, and I promise I'll get to my stuff, but this was just something very unusual. I experienced, or one of the most unusual parts of that was in the canal several hours before the storm, because it was moving in a certain way, it was actually pulling the water out. And so it was like there was almost no water in the canal at all. Very weird. Very unusual. And then, of course, as the storm got closer, it pushed all the water back up. And it did get just over my seawall, but I had a pretty high elevation where my house was, so I never had to worry about water coming in. But anyway, it's all scary stuff. It's a solid reminder for all of us that despite all of your activities, you're not always in control of everything, right? There's a reason they're called acts of God. So let me make sure, because I don't see any comments on here, and I can't tell. It's not giving me the information like it normally does. So I hate that, and I apologize, because if you guys are talking to me, I wouldn't know. So I need to make sure that we get this set up. So, a couple of cool things moving along for this particular month. If you guys haven't got the book, by the way, go get the book. It's free. You just got to pay for shipping. Okay? Momentum and Mastery. It's out. You can go to momentumandmastery.com and get the book. I am very firmly believing in what we're doing because the message is a needed message. There's a lot of confusion. There's a lot of inconsistency. There's a lot of distrust, trying to figure out how do I become more successful? Where do I go to get that information? How do I get that information? And even if I got the information, how do I maintain it and stay resilient throughout all the challenges that might be going on? All of that are topics that we cover in the book. There's ways to move forward, and go get the book. That's all I'm going to say about that. But we are going to be on a couple of podcasts. I got a keynote coming up in South Carolina for JPAR. That's JP and Associates Realtors. And they have, I want to say 5 locations in South Carolina. They're going to have a program called Fall into Success. And of course, I'm going to come in and tell them how you don't ever fall into it. But it is a cute little title for what they're trying to do. But we're going to anchor that conversation and help them make sure that they have some solid information that's going to help them move forward. In preparation for that, and what I'm doing with you guys tonight, is I want to share a couple of lies. There's a few lies that some of us will believe from time to time that's keeping us from moving forward as we should. And I apologize again if for some reason I can't see what you guys are doing, which is really starting to drive me nuts. Let me do this. So while I get this pulled up real quick, I want to tell you guys, there's a lot of things that people are believing nowadays that's really crippling. It's crippling your business, okay? Absolutely crippling. All right, T. Luco. Man, if I could pronounce your last name, buddy, I apologize. Oh my gosh. Hold on, I'm trying to remember his name. He's in Miami. Oh, I just saw his face. My man. Oh. Good to see you, man. I trust you're doing well. And I got Dan on here. Okay. So this is why I absolutely can't stand the fact that I can't see it on this side, but I can see it. I just pulled it up on a different screen. So if you guys chat, do anything, I should be able to see it now. I apologize. I missed you. All right, guys. So let's talk about these lies. There's a lot of lies that people are believing, and it's absolutely crippling your business. All right. So I'm going to cover. There's a total of 6 of them. I'm not going to go through all of them, but I'm going to hit a couple of them. Okay. As a matter of fact, I'm not going to pick and choose. I'm just going with 1, 2, and I don't know if we'll get to 3. Okay. Number 1, you're working hard, so that must mean you're moving forward. Right? People walk around and say, well, I'm really working really, really hard. Does that actually mean that you're moving forward? Right? We've been told, that you just got to keep working hard. Everything is going to fall into place. But the truth is that hard work without purpose is just spinning your wheels. Right? You might be busy, but you're not making meaningful progress. And the reason why that is because you lack a clear commitment to a well-defined outcome. You're moving, but you're not necessarily moving forward. Right? So what you're going to need to do is define your actual purpose. Because without it, all the effort in the world won't get you where you need to go. That's lie number 1. You know what? I'm working really, really hard. I must be moving forward. It's got to be moving me forward. Hard work doesn't necessarily mean that you're moving forward, folks. And the absolute first building block in the qualified champions framework, right? The mastery cycle is purpose. But the lie that people are falling into as to why they won't ever, or what's causing them to stay crippled, is they're replacing or they're believing that they're moving forward because they're working hard. It's not going to work that way. Lie number 2. Kind of, it's similar. But people, I think, nowadays are, well, let me just read it out the way I wrote it down. Being busy means you're being productive. It's very similar to the first one. I think there's a lot of business leaders that I can ask and say, hey, entrepreneurs, hey, how's it going? Man, I'm busy. I got a lot of stuff going on. Do you? The world tells you that staying busy is a sign of productivity. Like, you must be getting somewhere, right? But here's the truth. Busyness is a distraction from what really matters. Most of the time, what we're using as busyness is causing us to, it's really just a distraction or an avoidance of a specific fear of doing the one thing that actually help us not be busy. And see, there's different reasons why we would be avoiding busyness, by the way, or business, right? We'd rather be busy because some people have a limiting belief in their head that it can't just be, it can't be that simple, right? It's got to be hard. I got to be overly invested in this emotionally and be super busy for it to be worth, right, the $15,000, $20,000, $30,000 a month that I'm making. Well, the only way, what you're doing is you feel bad about the fact that there's other people that aren't doing the work. And so you make yourself overly busy. That's one reason. The other one is you're avoiding the one thing that's going to keep you from being, busy. So you stay busy because you don't want to go do that thing. And what's funny is for some people, it's not even a major thing, right? Well, it's a major thing to them. For instance, I cannot tell you the number of real estate agents, and it's not just them, by the way. It's not just real estate agents, but the number of real estate agents that will not organize their database. They've got their contacts in their phone. They got their stuff together, in there. And if you ask them, tell me about all the people that you're working with. How do you have it organized? Oh, it's there in my phone. How do you know when the last time you talked to them? Well, I can look, or I remember. Clearly, you don't have a very big business. So what they do is they stay busy instead of taking the time to break down that stuff. It would just be more work, and it's really tiring, and I don't think I could do that. I don't think people understand the fact that when you go in and you start doing this kind of thing, organizing yourself, structuring what you got going on, it actually helps you be more productive because you have better priorities. Your packed schedule is a cover for avoiding your real priorities. The most important tasks, the ones that will actually solve the big problems, they get pushed aside for constant low-value tasks. What you need are priorities. And the ability to focus on a well-defined plan and the discipline to say no to distractions is what will actually drive your business forward. I actually had a conversation, one of my clients right now, she owns a brokerage, a real estate brokerage. She's also got a coaching company. She does consulting for brokerages. She's a busy lady, and she does some volunteer stuff. She's a busy lady. She called me to tell me, Spencer, you'd be proud. Why would that be? Oh, because I was approached to go do this thing. I was going to make money doing this thing, and I said no. She was proud of herself. And the reason she was proud of herself is because in that moment, she knew what her priorities needed to be. She was not going to deviate from the plan that's going to help her get there. She may eventually work with that person and do what she needs to do in that situation and make money. But at the end of the day, it's not part of it. Just because it's an opportunity doesn't mean it's relevant to your outcome. And so people become more busy and they get distracted and they go all over the place. That's a problem. Make sense? I need to refresh this page over here, see if you guys are talking to me because nothing's popped up. All right. Nobody said anything else, so that's good. All right. If we just held on to those two for tonight, you would probably make a difference in your business today. If you would stop believing the lie that because I'm working hard, I've got to be moving forward. And the lie that if I'm busy, that means I'm being productive. If you would stop believing those two lies and become super committed to an outcome with a purpose and focused on your plan, creating a priority, you're going to get a lot further. So that's the challenge for the night this week. Meanwhile, I'm going to go have some dinner and then tomorrow morning get up, make sure everything I have in the backyard is anchored down as old Hurricane Milton decides to roll through Florida. Sure it's going to be a big mess south of us. But anyway, y'all keep well, keep moving forward. And remember, if you're not on my daily text, by the way, if you're not getting my daily text, and if you hadn't spread the word about it, spencercombs.com/text. I will send you a daily text, a Momentum and Mastery text, every Monday through Friday, somewhere around 7 a.m., give or take 15, 20 minutes on Eastern time. So, all right, friends, keep well, keep moving forward. Thanks for being here.